My lords, Baroness Hylton-Foster died peacefully in her sleep last night. She had been convener of the Crossbench peers for some 21 years, from 1974 to 1995. She was the only woman to hold that position, and was in fact only the second convener of the Crossbench peers, taking over from Lord Strang. She was truly devoted to the Crossbench, and in her many years as convener, she was a very influential figure behind the scenes in this House. During her years of convenership, the Crossbench peers emerged as the important and respected force that they are today. Her long service as a convener, I think we would all agree, meant she became something of an institution in this House. For very many years, she would regularly be seen sitting in the far corner of the crossbenches, often assisted by her friend Lady Kinloss, noting carefully and extremely meticulously which crossbenchers were present. She seemed destined to be a crossbencher from birth. Her father was Speaker of the House of Commons from 1943 to 1951. In 1931, she married Sir Harry Hylton-Foster, who also became a hugely respected Speaker of the Commons from 1959 to 1965. So it's extraordinary that she and her family occupied a residence in this building for about 14 years in all. She took her seat, as your lordships know, in 1965 in this chamber, which was the same year of her widowhood. Outside Parliament, she enjoyed a lifelong and fulfilling involvement with the British Red Cross. She was president of the County of London branch for 14 years. Then she was president and chairwoman of that branch until 1983. And it was for that devoted service to this important institution that brought about the award of the Queen's Badge of Honour. My lords, she continued to attend this House when she could, even though she was 94 years of age in May of this year. She led a very full and distinguished life inside Parliament and outside, and I know that we all would wish to send sincere condolences to her family, together with our affection for one who will be sadly missed, both as a dedicated member and as a faithful friend to us.
Amen. My lords, it was sad news indeed when we heard of the death of the noble Baroness, Lady Hylton-Foster, and may I say how much I heartily agree with every word that the noble and learned Lord, the leader of the House, has already said. We've lost in a few weeks two formidable personalities, in Lady Young, the first woman leader of the House, and now the noble Baroness, who was for so many years such an assiduous and effective convener of the Crossbench peers. In those days, a much larger flock even than they are today. Such remarkable women as these give the lie to the stereotypes that are so often still fluted of this House. They, and no one more than the noble Baroness, Lady Hylton-Foster, embody the spirit of selfless public service that is the hallmark of this House at its very best. The noble Baroness was still convener, despite her very advanced age, when I first joined the front bench and later on became Chief Whip. And I soon came to understand that behind that slight frame and unassuming figure was an unusually powerful personality. Someone who was always tenacious in what she believed to be right, and someone whose advice it was rarely wise to ignore. My lords, she was both daughter and wife of Speakers of the House of Commons, a record that must in itself be unusual, but she yielded nothing to them in distinction or in public service, whether in this House or outside, most notably, of course, as a noble and learned Lord said, in her lifetime of devotion to the Red Cross. My lords, she knew and understood the role of the crossbenchers in this House better than anyone. And she knew, understood, and loved this House. We shall all miss her, and I join with the noble and learned Lord in expressing our deepest condolences to her family.
My lords, the noble lady Baroness Hylton-Foster was somebody who was steeped in politics all her life as the wife and daughter of speakers of the other place. She was also somebody who I think we all owe a great debt of acknowledgement to because of her absolutely crucial role in establishing the voice and the influence of the crossbenches in this house. She was a very fierce, I understand, warrior in favour of the independence of the crossbenchers, and never let a moment pass when she did not represent their interest in this house to the great benefit of all of us. She was a doughty lady. I gather that she came to the house in all weathers, rain, shine, snow, sunshine. She was always here, and she regarded her obligation and duty to the House of Lords as a very central part of her being. Apart from her work in this house, which we shall all remember, and her work as convener of the crossbenchers over 21 years, she had what the noble Lord Healy calls a hinterland. Part of that hinterland was referred to by the noble and learned Lord Williams of Mostyn, that is to say, her commitment and belief in the work of the Red Cross. But she had another hinterland in her love of gardening, and I believe that she had an absolutely splendid garden at Boxmoor to which she was deeply devoted, and which those who had the privilege of visiting recognised to be another of her career and life's great achievements. We shall all miss her.
My Lords, I had the privilege of succeeding Lady Hylton-Foster when she gave up the convenership of the crossbenches in 1995. She continued to keep a very careful eye on my activities throughout the time that she remained in the House, and even subsequently, my Lord, when I regularly received telephone calls from her. As the Leader of the House has said, she ticked us off as we came into the chamber, and ticked us off if we did not come into the chamber. She demanded very high standards from her crossbench flock, and woe betide anyone, although her hearing wasn't very good towards the end of her time, woe betide anyone who whispered to a colleague on this bench. Lady Hylton-Foster would always lean forward and say, "Shh." My Lords, on a more personal note, my wife and I will always be very grateful to her, because my wife became Mrs. Speaker, the first Mrs. Speaker for 20 years. The previous Mrs. Speaker had been Lady Hylton-Foster, and she was our first visitor when I was chosen Speaker in 1983. I remember her opening words, "I hope you've got a good butler." Well, things had changed a bit since that time, but she was enormously helpful to us, particularly to my wife, in telling us the form. It was when she came to retire, my Lords, we had great difficulty in deciding what we should give her as a farewell present, and she chose trees for her garden. She had a lovely garden near Leith Hill, which she regularly opened to the public for the Red Cross on May Bank holiday. She will be very much missed by all of us on our benches. My Lords, it's already been mentioned, she got the badge of honour from the Red Cross for her activities. Her DBE was the badge of honour for her political services, and we shall miss her very much indeed.
My Lords, might I just add a word or two about Lady Hylton-Foster? She was a remarkable shepherd of the crossbench flock. She knew every single one of us, and all about us and our families. And latterly there were nearly 350 of us. If she noticed that any one of her flock who was a regular attendant was absent, she would make inquiries as to why, and if not satisfied, she would telephone to find out if they were all right. We knew that if we were not coming in on any day, we must let her know. Otherwise she would be worrying lest we were ill. She was more than a shepherd. She was a mother to the crossbenchers. And all of us who were lucky enough to have been members of her flock remember her not only with great respect, but with great love and affection.
The Lord Naseby.
My Lords, I beg leave to ask a question standing in my name on the order paper.